Hola, Pigeon. When you think of racing, you probably think of NASCAR, which is probably the most boring thing in the world. Or you think about Formula Racing, where those cars go fast enough to warp into another dimension. Or maybe you're a real man and you think of Mario Kart. But there's a new type of racing that's just running laps around these other types of races, making other types of races look obsolete and puny compared to this type of racing. This is the type of racing that God truly envisioned that those overweight white men that wear wife beaters and also beat their wives and drink too much beer would watch. The one sole purpose of humans on Earth was to start pigeon racing. Yes, you heard me correctly, pigeon racing. I had no idea this was a sport, let alone the amount of fans that it has. It's pretty widespread and pretty well known, which I definitely wasn't aware of before stumbling across it on YouTube. So if you're still watching up to this point and for some reason you're interested in pigeon racing, let's go ahead and check it out.
Pigeon racing has got to be in your blood. It all starts right here at the loft. You're a breeder. You're a flyer.
Pigeon racing has just got to be in your blood. You got to be born from your mom and dad, who are also your aunt and uncle and your cousins.
Testing the limits on your birds, just seeing how far you've came from when they were born.
It's a lot of work.
Yeah, that kid's like
we
my
had years
age.
where we didn't realize we needed to get up at 4 a.m. and train every single day. And our results showed it. The result is worth the work.
Most of the flyers here know each and every one of these birds from the day it was born until it shows back up at home from a race.
This is like some anime intro type thing where the hero is like building up to this super strong character that's going to beat the biggest enemy in the anime. Talking about getting up at 4 a.m. to train like it's Rocky Balboa training for his big fight or something. You gotta raise these pigeons with your hands with delicate care. Get up at 4 a.m. and train them. How do you even train a pigeon? Just say, hey, fly that way and come back when you're done. The whole idea is just so funny to me.
It could be from 600 miles. It makes it really, really exciting when they come home.
This is pigeon racing. You just open cages and they fly away and then they come back. How do you know whose pigeon won though? Don't they all look the same? Maybe they know their pigeons by name. There's Mikey and there's I seen Tony in there too. Mark's probably in there somewhere too. He's usually always around. So is Wisconsin like the breeding ground for these pigeon racers?
When I was a young teenager, my mentor,
He's training them with a whistle.
And he used to fly the birds around the house and I got interested in it. Ever since then, today, we are still friends. He helped me get a lot of pigeons.
Just the fact that he's blowing the whistle while he's feeding them. What is the whistle doing? I don't understand the point of the whistle. But also the fact that he got interested in pigeon racing and birds in general from seeing birds fly around his neighbor's house. If I seen birds flying around my neighbor's house, I'd probably think that man's a psychopath and I wouldn't want to meet that neighbor. But maybe he had like a sign that said free candy on his door and the kids seen birds flying around his house and thought it was like a zoo or something. But yeah, birds flying around the house definitely wouldn't be something that should draw in a normal kid. You know, it probably should be something that parents should see and tell their kid, this is a house you should not go around. This is something you probably shouldn't be around because that man's more than likely insane. And he'll probably molest you if you go in there.
I always wanted an owl from Harry Potter. And instead of an owl, my grandpa sent me 10 white birds. And so I started off just raising white pigeons until my mom met a world-renowned pigeon flyer. He came over, he looked over our loft and stuff, gave us some pointers, and... Your
stepdad's the world-renowned pigeon racer, huh? He's giving your mom that good pigeon pop, you know what I'm saying? Imagine like talking to your grandpa, being like, Grandpa, I really, really want an owl because I seen Harry Potter, and you know, owls look pretty daggone cool. And then your grandpa's like, yeah, here's 10 white birds. And you're like, thank you, Grandpa. I want to be a pigeon racer now. And also, my mom's screwing the world-renowned pigeon racer, so that's also a plus.
He brought 5 race birds with him, and he gave those to us as a gift, and that's how I got started racing.
Your mama's so good in bed, I just gave you 5 free racing pigeons. Be grateful, kid.
In our very own backyard, they're some of the most world-class pigeon racers there are. So Garrett flew by himself for 2 years, and then when we purchased that farm and moved up here, I started racing because I was driving the truck
pigeon
every day
racers
anyway.
is world-renowned.
So I kind of got a little...
I haven't heard of one pigeon racer that's world-renowned, let alone state-renowned. I haven't heard of a pigeon racer, period.
I actually started back full-time. I want to say
you talk to him, you just whistle? The bird whisperer, the pigeon whisperer. So whenever I envision pigeon racing, I just imagine them lining up like 5 pigeons from each different person, and then they would all just like race down and back. I didn't envision them just letting go hundreds of pigeons at one time. And how's that racing? There's no one else there. It's just you.
My friend's health deteriorated and asked me to take over for him, and I got his birds and started racing a few years after that.
What did he say? Did he say he said his friend, like, as a dying wish, gave him his pigeons and told him to, like, take care of them? So imagine your dying wish being, hey man, I'm gonna die soon, and out of everything I've done with my life, I want you to have my pigeons and carry on my world-renowned pigeon racing legacy. Wife and kids? What are you talking about? Who cares about my wife and kids? Dude, you gotta race my pigeons. Tell me you'll race my pigeons. That's my one dying wish for you, man. And he's like, thanks man, it means the world. It means the world to have these pigeons so I can race them in your name. The pigeon racing is just funny in my head. I don't know. It's definitely not what's being portrayed on the screen, but in my head, it's pretty funny.
Was young birds.
Yeah, that pigeon's drowning itself.
There's some people never heard of the sport before, and they don't understand what it's all about.
That's me right
so
here,
I
man.
explain myself to them, what I do.
Yes, please explain.
I breed them.
Yeah.
I fly them.
Uh-huh.
I train them.
Yep.
And I race them.
Okay, so I want to see the races here. That's what I'm here for.
I got up at 5 this morning. We like to get them up early in the morning.
It's got boxing gloves.
Because later on in
Pigeons put those on and duke it out. They got pigeon boxing matches.
And we go out, baby, first time, not even a mile, and I cut them loose and they come back. So then I keep going distance further and further every day until I get them 75 miles.
I will take them 75 miles.
What we're doing is preparing these birds for the...
Imagine just driving behind someone and they keep pulling off like every mile just to let a bunch of pigeons out. And they keep going back, come back, go a little bit farther, letting more pigeons out. What's the big payoff? Like, is there like $1 million pigeon racing tournaments? Because I really don't see the point in like having hundreds of pigeons, training them every day for hours a day. Like, what does this guy do for a living? Like, he has to do something. Is pigeon racing like a gold mine right now? Is it going up like Bitcoin did back in like 2016? I just want to know what the appeal is. I want to know what the big races are. That's my main question here. Yeah, the race is what I want to see.
Familiar with maybe horse racing, thoroughbred racing. It's very similar. You're breeding the fastest against the fastest, trying to make a faster.
Some people are familiar with horse racing, but for some reason, not so many are familiar with pigeon racing.
But it's very much not on a track, not with a jockey. They go on a trailer, they get released, and they fly home back to your house.
Yeah, well, that probably is the reason they're not as popular. Because horse races have tracks and actual stadiums people can come in and watch. How are people supposed to watch pigeon racing? You just let them go out in the wilderness and they come back to your house. Real exciting, real exhilarating, I know.
Before work.
Dude, he's got an earring?
For them
Only one earring. Isn't that a sign of being gay or something?
Still put them on the big truck.
My pigeon racing trailer right here, son.
It will tell us which birds have arrived and which ones are missing. So no pigeons yet. When we get home, it should have everybody in the club.
She's one of those old women that talk and you can hear like the spit in their mouth moving.
Sit at the patio pigeons, and we wait for the birds to land on the loft.
They land on the loft.
At the end of the day, then we get a club result. So maybe we have 7 people flying in our club. We know how well we did next to those 7 people. And then the next level up is the combine. And so the combine then is a group of clubs that are in a geographical area.
Oh yes, they did a 200-mile race in 2 hours? Dude, I'm going to have to send this to Guinness World Records, man. This is going in the front page.
You may have won your club, but you're maybe 50th. In the concourse, all the results...
50th, come on. There's not 50 people that pigeon race, come on. Well. You and I know good and well, Martha, no one is pigeon racing. There's maybe 25.
At a race day, if it's windy and them birds get blowing south, they know how to come home. Then I'll shift them north, and they should know both directions.
Naturally, yeah. The north and south method is probably the best pigeon racing method there is.
This is my mentor right here.
Mentor. My pigeon sensei. Pigeon senseis are a very big part of learning how to fly pigeons. Pigeon senseis are very ancient in nature. They have so much wisdom on pigeon racing that they can make your head spin with one sentence.
This is only for breeding. As you can see, we have 4 nice boxes here. This is where all the magic happens.
Ooh,
this one here.
sexy tom chambers for the pigeons.
My other,
yeah, they do the dirty hardcore, baby. Kind of intrusive though. They have the front like see-through, so like, you know, they'd probably feel pretty uncomfortable if you're watching them there, Pablo. Isn't that his name? Something Alvarez. I don't know if his first name's Pablo. That's kind of racist. You need to put a little mattress in there. A little mattress and a few rags to clean up after they're done.
I vaccinate my pigeons for
vaccinate them.
Hermixovirus, for salmonella, pox, any type of respiratory.
People were out here vaccinating pigeons, but some people won't vaccinate their kids.
In the wing, you can tell when a pigeon is a fast pigeon, okay? When it's more
we're gonna see how they examine. Oh, okay.
Depending on how the wing is structured or how the steps are.
Yeah, that's a fast one. I can tell right there by the wing,
times,
baby.
I like to buy all my
Makes
seeds
sense.
Separately, and I just do my own mix according to whatever I'm
Oh,
doing.
makes his own mix of pigeon mix right
now,
there.
They don't need a lot of protein. Okay.
Has pigeons on a specific diet. He's like their trainer. It's like the pigeon's personal trainer. All right, now Terry, you're gonna get 20 protein today because you need to be strong for this race. And Greg over there, you only need about 12 because you're not gonna be in the speed. You're not gonna be in the speed races. You're gonna be loaded on carbs today, Steve, because you're an endurance racer. And the same thing goes for you, Jeff. And Ted, don't even get me started. Ted, you're out. You're cut. Ted, I told you to go home 2 weeks ago, man. Why are you still here? Pigeon Racing Club Incorporated. Come fly with us. Good slogan. Definitely not stolen from an airline. Do they not race against other people though? Do they just kind of go there and back? They need to have like a course set up, like an enclosed course that the pigeons have to maneuver around corners, do some drifts, and, you know, cross across the finish line.
Calling our race secretary back in Fond du Lac and confirming with him that weather in Fond du Lac and along the way is safe for the birds to travel through. And
it's like a flight control center. So how's the weather up there 150 miles north? Because I'm about to send some pigeons up, you know. Yeah, oh, a little strong weather. They'll be fine. They should be able to beat it, yeah. Yeah, you should be expecting some pigeons in about an hour or two. Yeah. Alright, man. Cool.
The red line is their line and the blue is ours. We have to drive 63 miles and they only fly 41.
Does anyone ever just like start shooting at the birds? They'll see them overhead and be like, start skeet shooting. There's one right there. Dang, that's a nice spread right there, man. That's enough to make a grown man wet in the pants. God, pigeon wings or something else. Pigeon wings get me going, man.
This bird actually has a molted flight, so this feather right here has molted, and now the new one is growing out. So this is 10987, so that's its 6th flight. We really don't want to fly them in a race when they're 8th, 9th, or 10th. They're molted out because that's where the
that's a rough injury. Yeah, you don't want to be racing him. You got to let him recover. Let that wing recover.
Really
throw some Oss on it. Give him some Aussie hot to rub on there. He'll be good for next week's race.
He's able to breathe well. He's got a good
That's a tough loss, though, you know.
Nutrition is good.
Yeah, nutrition has been doing a good job with these pigeons. They're looking good and healthy for this race here. So are these people racing each other, or are they just doing their own races? That's still my biggest question. That dude is a crackhead. There's just some random crackhead. Who is this guy? Randy looks cracked out of his mind.
The rest of them are just pigeons. But you gotta find which ones those are.
So inspirational, Randy. Thank you, man. That's so inspirational, dude. Such a beautiful thought to see him fly away. Oh yeah, holding up the boards. Fly away, my young ones, fly. Such a poetic ending. What a beautiful sport, man. That's what you live for. You live to watch them fly away. Your hard work, dedication, and pigeon racing dreams all coming true when you raise them cages up. It's just something straight out of a movie, man. You love to see it. Good fun, boys. You earned yourself some chicken wings. Wait, no. You earned yourself some corn. They probably shouldn't eat their own corn. I apologize for that. Any pigeon racers out there, I'm sorry if I offended you with that joke.
It's really an incredible feeling to see them.
Yes, I would imagine it's the best feeling in the world. It's such a big thrill. It's like taking massive amounts of heroin and cocaine at the same time. That's what I imagine it feels like. The euphoric experience. Just look at those. Oh god, it's hitting me right now. I'm getting shakes, shivers. My heart's racing, dude. I'm like, the hair's standing up on the back of my neck. Just look at that. So amazing to see those pigeons just fly back home. Thank you, Matthew R. Myers, for the amazing video. So yeah, that's pigeon racing. I just came back from whopping my Oz because I was just starting to tear up at that absolute masterpiece of an ending there. And I know what you all are thinking. Pigeon racing may be boring, but at least it's not NASCAR. I'll see you next time. Peace out.